In this video, I'm going to share with you guys a few crucial tips that you can use to instantly get more kills and hopefully get yourself some more wins here in Call of Duty Warzone. So I hope you guys like the tips and enjoy the video. So what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Call of Duty Warzone, and I wanted to share with you guys a few tips that hopefully you can incorporate into your gameplay to not only get yourself some more kills, but hopefully to get yourself some more wins here in Warzone. Some of these tips are pretty unique, and you probably haven't seen a few of them in other YouTube videos before, so I'm hoping that with this video, I'll be able to share with you guys some new tactics that you can add to your arsenal when it comes to getting more kills, again, here in Warzone. So I want to make it clear that the gameplay that you're watching in the background does not directly coincide with the tips that I'm talking about. So I don't want you guys to get confused with what's happening in the background with what I'm talking about. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the video. But nonetheless, again, some really good tips here that hopefully you guys will be able to put to work. So the first tip that I want to share with you guys is to use the custom loadout drops to your advantage. So one of the biggest misconceptions with Warzone is that these random loadout drops are quote unquote random. They are in fact not random. Warzone has an algorithm that determines exactly where to drop these random loadout drops. Generally, the way it's going to work is it's going to fall somewhere in between you and another team. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to land just next to you or in a super random location. It's almost always going to be in between two different teams. So what you need to keep in mind, and I've made this mistake several times, my teammates have made this mistake several times, is not to just bum rush the loadout drop or just go to the loadout drop not expecting anyone else to be there. The best way to play this, and a really easy way to get yourself some more kills, is to play that loadout drop like it's bait. Like I said, you're going to have another team that has an equal distance from that drop, and you can go prepare and be ready for players to come get on that thing. I can't tell you how many times that myself and my teammates have used this as bait, and it's worked very, very quick, like shortly after the drop, and it's just something that I think will help a lot of you when it comes to getting some pretty easy kills. Most of the time when it comes to this strategy, you're not going to actually have a lot of gunfights. You're going to be able to pick a lot of people off before they even realize what's going on. So using those custom loadout drops as bait is going to be a really good strat to getting yourself some more kills here in Warzone. You'll also be able to pick up some pretty quick cash that way as well. So, and then you can go get the loadout drop. So it's pretty much a win-win. So make sure that you're paying attention to those quote-unquote random loadout drops. The second tip that I want to share with you guys is to create a loadout that has fully loaded. So this is something that players don't even think about and is a really smart thing to do. As most of you guys know, here in Warzone, you have a whole bunch of different classes that you can create, and I'm sure some of you have some that you don't even use. You want to create a specific loadout where both of your weapons have the fully loaded perk on. What this is going to be used for is when you die in Warzone. So I'm sure most of you guys have had that experience where it's late in the game, you end up dying, you win your gulag and you come back. However, you don't have anything and pretty much the entire map has already been looted. Most of the time when you come back, there's going to be one of those random loadout drops that are located around the map. And I can't tell you how many times I've done it where I'll go land on the loadout drop, grab a gun, and go hide somewhere because I'm by myself. I don't really have anything. The issue with that is then you get stuck with no ammo. So this is where this tip comes into play. If you create a class setup that has two primaries, you run overkill. If you don't want it, as long as you just have one, that will be fine. Make sure that you have the fully loaded perk on that class setup so that when you land, you can get yourself that loadout drop, get yourself that weapon, and have plenty of ammo to get yourself back into the fight. Most of the time when players come back from that gulag late in the game, they end up getting screwed because they don't really can't go anywhere. They can't get anything. So this is just a really good counter to that, and hopefully will keep you guys alive longer and help you to get further into the match. The next tip that I have for you is something that's really important and something that you've probably heard a lot, but really need to pay attention because this is something that will completely change the way that you play this game. So this tip is to play the circle early in the game, play the storm late in the game. So what I mean by saying that is early in the game when there's still several players alive. I mean players more than 30, more than 40. You want to make sure that you're playing the circle. The goal is to try to get as close to the middle of the circle as you can, because obviously in Warzone, most of the time when you end up dying, it's because you're running, you're moving, you're trying to get to a new location, and if you stay towards the center of the circle, you're not going to run into that problem early on in the game. The downside to this is when you get further into the game, when you're down to 20 or 30 people left, being in the middle can kind of suck, because then you get surrounded by everyone. It's a very close distance, and the only chance you really have at staying alive is if you have a building completely locked down. So the best way to play when you get later on into the game, and a very easy way to get yourself some more kills, is to play with the storm. Move with the storm. One of the biggest problems that I see players have, including my own teammates, is that they want to move before the storm starts moving. And in Warzone, it's not like another game where Fortnite, where you can get screwed if you're not even near the circle. In Warzone, generally you're gonna move faster than the storm, and rarely you're gonna have a situation where you're extremely far away from the circle and have to run super early. So when you get later on into the game, you want to move super slow with the circle and play with the storm and play the perimeter of that circle. Essentially what I will do when we get further into the game, whether I'm playing solos or whether I'm playing trios or squads, when the storm starts moving, you want to move and stay with it. However, you want to move in a different direction. You either want to go right or you want to go left. You don't want to go straight. And the reason for that is because by doing this, you're going to be able to flank so many more people. It's literally going to be impossible for someone to get behind you, and you're always going to have that first shot advantage because you're catching people running towards that circle. So again, later on in the game, follow the storm, stay with the edge of the storm, and move either right or left so you can flank people. And one thing to add on to that, if there's a building on the edge of the storm and you know someone's camping in it, play that circle, sacrifice a little bit of health to stay in that storm and wait for them to run. Because almost always in Warzone, you're going to have people that aren't that smart, that wait in the building until the storm moves and just jump out and start running. And it makes it very easy to take them out because you're catching them off guard and they're not prepared for it. So again, make sure that you're playing the circle early on in the game and playing the storm later on in the game. The next tip is in squads, play in formation. Now this goes for squads or trios or duos if they ever put it into this game. I say play in formation, not technically. I don't want you to go around and play like a SWAT team. Obviously, that would be kind of lame. However, if you're playing in somewhat of a formation where your players are together, but still separated enough to where you can have multiple angles on a specific person, it's going to allow you to win so many more gunfights. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced where your entire team is camping together in one spot, or you're all moving together in one spot, and you get trapped very easily. If you know that there's a specific enemy in a certain location, the best way to go about going and getting into that gunfight is to surround that person. Have a couple people or one person on the right, have someone further off to the left. Put your teammates in different locations and move in different locations so that if you do get attacked or you do come up on someone that doesn't see you, you can hit them from different angles. If someone starts shooting at you running right down the middle of the map, you're going to have other teammates that are kind of spread out a little bit. Again, I want you to keep in mind, I don't want you to stay too far apart to where you can't help each other. But if you have all these different angles, it's going to be impossible for a team to take all of you out if you're moving like that. It's so much easier and something that you will notice a huge difference if you start to play like that. Again, make sure that you are staying close enough to where if someone does catch you off guard, they're not able to completely kill you because you have teammates that are already there in positions to help take those guys out. So again, play in formation in trios and squads. It will make a huge difference, and you'll be able to make it much further into the game. The next tip that I have is something that we have done so much recently, and I don't know why players don't do this. I know a lot of people do, but if you don't, you need to do this immediately, and that is to utilize your money to buy as many UAVs as you possibly can. And I don't mean use the advanced UAV. I mean use the standard UAV. So essentially what you want to do when you get yourself closer to endgame, I would say 30, 40, hey, maybe even 50, 60 people, you want to try to get your entire team a UAV. And once you get everyone a UAV, you can almost go on a run where you have unlimited UAV. So let me explain to you how this works. If you have an entire team that has the UAV equipped, the first person will call it in. You got what, like a minute of UAV to use, 45 seconds, whatever it is. You want to go after the closest people that you possibly can. Now, a quick tip that I recommend, a side tip to this, is try to be near people. Don't just randomly call it in. Try to get to a situation where you know someone's nearby and then call in your UAV. What you do by doing this is when you call in that first UAV, you can go after a team and you pretty much know exactly where they're at, and it makes it 1,000 times easier for you to take out that team. Now, let's say, for example, you get there and your UAV disappears. This is why you have a squad. You have other friends that have UAVs, so you can call in a second one in case you need the backup. Once you take out that entire team, in almost every case, you're going to get enough money to get more UAVs. So essentially, this is just a cycle of getting UAVs in Warzone, and it's a really, really good and effective way to keep yourself alive and be able to get lots and lots of kills. It's something that we've been doing a ton lately, especially when you get towards the end game. And not only is it really good to get more kills, but it's so much fun because you literally have a UAV in the air all the time. You go through, you squad wipe somebody, and you grab all their money and go buy more UAVs and just do it again. There's enough stores all over the map to where you're able to just constantly get them. So a really good strategy here that hopefully you guys will put to use because, man, it is so much fun when you have pretty much an unlimited UAV on the map. The last tip that I want to add to you is a really, really fun one, and I don't really think a lot of people think about this one, but that's to use Claymores and proximity mines in random locations on streets that are in the circle. So I can't tell you how many times I've picked up a proximity mine. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't use these. And I'll throw it down in a street in the middle of a city or a town and just run away and end up getting a kill or even a squad wipe later on in the game because I just threw it down in a street. Players are using these vehicles all the time and they're just driving down the roads. They don't care. They're just going crazy and they'll run right over those things because they don't see them and you'll blow up the vehicle really easily. And most of the time, if you're playing trios or squad, you're going to get more than one kill. So just a really quick tip that I think a lot of you should try out. It's so funny when you're across the map and you just randomly get a triple kill. So make sure that you're throwing proximity mines and claymores down in random locations around the map on those streets. But anyway, guys, these are the tips that I wanted to share with you in this video. I really hope some of you can put them to use and do well with them. If you guys have any questions or anything else to add about these specific tips for Call of Duty Warzone, please make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll be sure and try to help some of you guys out. But I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.